Erie News Now brings you an exclusive one-on-one interview with Democratic presidential candidate Tim Walz, and our Philip Ward is just back in the studio after the campaign visit. How did it go out there today, Phil?
Well, Mike, the governor of Minnesota spent about 2 hours here in Erie after his team landed on North Coast Flight School tarmac right around 3:30 p.m. And of course, he was greeted by our local state representatives. Then the governor was on his way to Vilma's Kitchen on State Street, where he spoke in front of about 15 people. And then we had a chance to speak with Governor Tim Walz, an exclusive one-on-one interview. And I asked him, Mike, about reaching out to that number of undecided voters that is still out there. How does he get them to vote for that Harrison-Walz ticket?
And I think there's more people that maybe thought they made up their mind, but stuff happens in the last week. We saw these comments out of Madison Square Garden that I think really shakes people. We saw comments about women where Donald Trump said he'll be their protector whether they like it or not. Those are things that really shake people. But I think those folks, I just met with 4 of them, they're doing their work. They're doing their research. They're listening. And I think the way you get to them is we've laid out a real plan. We have a plan to address this. And as the vice president said the other night as she spoke on the National Mall, she's got a to-do list when she goes to the White House. Donald Trump has a grievance list and an enemies list. So I think there's a lot of people still in flux. I think those folks in the middle are going to see, look, we don't want the chaos that we saw under Donald Trump. We'd rather see the steady leadership that Kamala Harris exhibits.
Governor, what about some of those detractors who say, well, if things were going to be fixed, Vice President Harris would have done it. She's been in the administration for 4 years. How do you get those people to vote for the ticket? Yeah,
she's her own leader. She's laid out a very clear and different plan. I would give the example of Medicare and making sure Medicare is more robust, allowing people to be treated in their home. And she laid out, as somebody who's a rural guy, she laid out a really great rural plan that focuses on rural hospitals, rural access to capital for small businesses.
And Mike, we also talked with the governor about the economy and Vice President Harris's plans for it. Now, we'll show you that full interview, of course, coming up at 7 o'clock, Mike, on Inside Erie Politics.
Less than an hour. We'll see that full interview. Philip, thanks. And still to come this evening.